We're back here at the NRA National Sporting Arms Museum at Bass Pro Shop here in Springfield, Missouri. I'm with Jim Supica, the director of the museum here and all the NRA museums. And Jim, I was so happy when I found I was going to be in the neighborhood. The first guy I called was you and said, can we come in, visit the museum, do some Curator's Corners. I was out here a while back for the opening and we had such a great time and I've been dying to get back. So thank you for having us back. Thank you for hosting Curator's Corners and tell us about the next firearm. It comes with a little bit of visual aid. Something, I guess, someone named Annie Oakley?
Yeah, this was Annie Oakley's Parker shotgun. And she had a number of guns, but this one was very special to her. It was a gift from her husband, Frank Butler, in 1901. Factory records verify that it was shipped to Butler to give to Annie Oakley. She always went, in private, she always went as Mrs. Frank Butler.
Right.
Annie Oakley was her stage name. Her real name was Phoebe Ann Moses. She grew up that way. Had a very tough upbringing.
Tell us a little bit. She's a fascinating character. We were talking about this before we got on the air here. Tell us a little bit about her, where she came from, and how she ended up being Annie Oakley.
Well, you know, eventually she became really America's first international female superstar. She was at the peak of entertainment at a time when Buffalo Bill's name was known better around the world than George Washington or Abraham Lincoln. And she was the star of his show. But she started out very humbly. She had a tough life. At age 6, her dad died, a very poor family. Mom remarried, and then her second dad died within a year or so.
Oh boy.
And the mom had 5 or 6 kids, just could not handle them all. So Annie went to live at an infirmary where they housed orphans and invalids and mentally incompetent people, and she helped with the children there. And so at about age 9, she was taking care of these kids in the infirmary till about age 13, when she went back to live with her family. Her mom had remarried. They were still very, very poor. And Annie took her dad's old Kentucky muzzle-loading rifle and went hunting, and she would hunt the game, and then she would sell it to the local grocery stores.
Wow.
And help support her family that way, and actually paid off the $200 mortgage on her mom's farm by doing that.
She found out pretty quickly she's pretty handy with a
She
firearm.
was pretty good. Well, another guy found out she was handy with a firearm. There was a guy named Frank Butler, who was one of the greatest shots in the world, and he would do a tour circuit with kind of a little circus sharpshooting act. And a way to promote a new town, he'd come in and he'd challenge the best shooter in the town to a target contest before the show to try and promote his showmanship. Came to this one town and they said, yeah, we got somebody for you. Brought out this 15-year-old barefoot girl.
Oh, jeez.
And they shot side by side for 25 targets each. Frank Butler missed his 25th target. Annie hit hers.
Wow.
2 years later, he came back and married her, and eventually he went from being the star of the show to being her manager.
Smart guy.
And having Miss Annie Oakley, little sure shot, a name Sitting Bull gave her when they were both with Buffalo Bill's Wild West. But a remarkable woman, very much an advocate of firearms for women, very much an advocate of equal pay for equal work for women. She offered to raise a company of female sharpshooters for both the Spanish-American War and World War I. Yeah. She was turned down on those, but she worked very hard on the war effort. And
this beautiful shotgun is here.
Yeah. It's inscribed to her. They lived a long, happy life together, and then Frank and Annie died within 3 months of each other.
It's so great to talk about the firearms like this beautiful shotgun, but every one of these firearms, as you just so wonderfully illustrated, Jim, tells a story, has a history to it, not just, the provenance, but just what's behind it. And it just kind of comes at you from the walls of a place like this when you get in here to spend some time and really get behind the stories and learn. It's so interwoven into the fabric of our country.
Well, she's an American hero, and it's wonderful to be able to preserve and pass on her story through her artifacts.
So you got to get out here and see this.
NRA National Sporting Arms Museum.
That's right.
In the Bass Pro Shop at Springfield, Missouri. We got another great museum, the NRA National Firearms Museum. That's at NRA headquarters in Fairfax, Virginia, or online at nramuseums.com.
Jim, thanks for another spectacular edition of the Curator's Corners. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, John.